This is Aaron Levine with another episode of the And Insurance podcast. Today I have my landlord with me. Well, yes, he is my landlord, but
Slumlord.
He's a little jealous of my space inside of the building. I share.
I have office envy.
It's pretty cool, but it's one day you'll get there. It's Mr. Howard Klein, Lanmark360, Lanmark 360, marketing, consulting. You guys have a lot of fun. Well, you used to have a lot of fun.
We still have fun.
You still have fun?
We do.
That's good. I put my vodka on the shelf back there. We'll be sure to have a cocktail when we're done here and go out and have some fun. But we were having a conversation. We were doing a little bit of work together on some stuff for your business as a professional marketing and advertising agency. Is that right? And or is there a better way to say what you do?
We're a full service healthcare communications firm, but the easy way to explain it is we're an advertising agency that specializes in the healthcare industry.
Healthcare, what areas of healthcare?
We do a lot of work within the dental industry. So our company was founded in 1977. Our very first client was a dental client, and that is an industry that we really built our business within, and then we grew beyond dental, and we service a lot of other clients within the pharma space and within the medical device space. But our real bread and butter and our real focus is on dental.
Should it be toothbrush and toothpaste, not bread and butter? Or sorry, this is not a comedy hour.
Yeah. So, like talking about like toothbrush and toothpaste. So we work with clients like Colgate. We work with clients like Philips. And we will work to get their toothpaste. We will work to get their toothbrushes. We do a lot of work with Arm & Hammer. We work to get dental professionals to recommend their products to their patients.
So you're not on the consumer side of the platform. You're more on the professional side, right? There's two different.
Right. Yeah, we drive professional recommendations.
So how's the marketing and advertising different between professional, direct to, is it, D2B, or is it B2B, or is it B2C? Like
it's most comparable to B2B, but sometimes we'll say direct to professional.
Okay.
We'll refer to the professionals as HCPs, healthcare professionals. We'll refer to the dental professionals as DPs, dental professionals. And what's probably most different about what we do in relation to, say, direct to consumer is just about every claim that we make has to be justified.
Okay.
It's got to be justified and substantiated with clinical data. So if you buy a product that is on the shelf in the oral care aisle and it claims to reduce plaque 10% more than other brushes, we need to be sure that there's clinicals to back up that claim. We can't just say that.
So you're marketing to New Jersey Dental Association, right? The dentist of, so to speak.
Sure.
And you're using data, right, along with other information to get the dentist to then recommend and refer out products, right? So a professional record, you're being hired to get the professionals to make professional recommendations to the consumers instead of using the go to the shopping shelves and figure it out on my own.
Absolutely. So if you ever been in a dental office and at the end of your visit, the hygienist or the dental assistant or the dentist recommended that you go to Walgreens and you buy a certain mouth rinse, or you buy a certain toothbrush, or you use, maybe a water jet, any type of, or maybe you're experiencing dry mouth and they recommend some type of over-the-counter product for dry mouth.
Sure.
Those are the type of products that we recommend, or that we market. We market those type of products to dental professionals to in turn recommend to patients like yourself. But along with that, we also do a lot of marketing for equipment, for technology, anything and everything that's used in the dental office. So from the chairs to the lights to the cabinets to a lot of the behind the scenes things that you never see, like the vacuum units, just about anything that you see in a dental office, anything that a dental professional could use, we market that as well, even softwares.
Right. I'm going to be looking at my dentist office a little bit different from now on. When I go in, I'll be like, what stuff is Howard responsible for in here? I know they recommend the Sensodyne every time I go in, so I use Sensodyne toothpaste.
Yeah, great product. Not a client of ours, but a great product.
We can work on that. Whoever's watching, you need better marketing, or else I'll stop using the Sensodyne. So one of the things we were talking about, besides marketing and advertising, which obviously I love branding and behind the shelves. We talked about
you always
the
have
vodka
such great merch. I mean, I got merch envy as well. I think you should be the guy in advertising. You're running around with these beautiful mugs.
I haven't given away toothbrushes yet. We might have to try
I got last year from you.
You got the hoodie, and maybe there was one of these too.
Yes.
I decided to dress a little casual today. These are nice. Insurance is what it is. Like, we sell, and it's not sexy, so we figure out a way to keep our brand awareness out there and keep our friends and family and clients, well informed, and just, hey, when you need us, we're here. So that's all that we do. And we did a product launch a couple of weeks ago for some of our referral partners in the real estate space, where we did our own branded vodka that's on the back shelf there. Thank you to Long Branch Distillery for coordinating that. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that live out here on YouTube and in the podcast world, but hey, it is what it is. But we were able to give away 72 bottles of vodka that night, to some of our partners.
Great place, Long Branch Distillery.
So much fun. Have you thrown a party there yet?
A friend of mine actually has a jazz trio.
Okay.
And he played there, and it was a really good night.
It's a great spot. We took the kids there a couple of Fridays ago. After dinner, we went to Tuzio's for dinner. And then from Tuzio's, we went over to the distillery. The adults had some drinks. The kids ran amok in the back over there. And, it's just a cool spot for cocktails and just to hang out and socialize and really to throw parties.
They'll deliver the food across the street too.
Tuzio's will deliver. Yeah, I had Tuzio's catered when I did the referral partner party over there also. So Tuzio's does a great job. Tuzio salads and pizza.
I think he's playing sometime soon. The Eric Nilla trio.
Let me know. I'll be there.
Yeah, I will.
As long as Mario's bartending, he knows exactly what to make me. But anyway, off topic here again, because it's so easy to go off topic when we're trying to talk about insurance. You came to me with a, I don't want to call it a problem, but with an obstacle, with a situation, something that you didn't mostly understand. There was a large insurance section in a document that you had because you were reviewing some contract language for your managed service agreements for the work that you're performing on behalf of others. And then we had to break down some of the insurance requirements. And then we broke it down into a way where it's like, Howard, we're really protecting you. Even though they're asking for all of this, we're covering you in case something happens and you get tagged or named in a lawsuit, whether it be from them or from another third party or from anything that arises. All this ultimately does protect you, your business, your employees, and the work that you're performing, right? And that's the conversation that we had, and you wanted to be like, oh, let's bring it up and let's talk about it on a podcast, and we're finally getting to do that. But we just wanted to make sure that we get that information out to everybody else. Like, while you get insurance requirements from larger vendors, it's not always just because they need it. Well, it is because they need it. They're going to protect themselves if they're sending you the contract. But at the end of the day, it does ultimately protect what you have, right? Like, so when we're reviewing this contract on the insurance section, we made sure that we fulfilled it, and we did it for a pretty reasonable price at the same time. So I know there was some advice you wanted to give to some other marketing firms out there, when reviewing it and protecting themselves and coming up and thinking about how to work and protect their employees out there.
Absolutely.
What else was coming up when you were reviewing these contracts?
So I think what was going through my head at the time, once we got through the process, is I was actually thinking more about my clients. So I often put myself in my client's shoes,
right,
when working to do whatever it is we're doing for them. And there's a good number of our larger clients that definitely require MSAs, master service agreements, and just about every one of those MSAs has some level of insurance requirements within it. A lot of the smaller companies that we work with are just not at the point that they've really formalize their process.
Right.
And we work more on a project by project basis. Sometimes we'll even still do work on a handshake.
Right.
A lot of that has really gone away. But I think about the smaller companies, and I think about the importance when they're looking for an agency, or really just about any company that's looking for an agency. It's really important to look for an agency that has the right protection in place, because it protects the client as well. And I really urge now all of my clients, when they come on, to put an MSA in place.
Right.
And along with having the MSA in place, when they're looking for an agency, to look for agencies that took the right step to get the right protection in place for them. Especially today when we look at things like cybercrime. One of the newer additions that we've added to our package, and appreciate all your help on that, Aaron, is the cybersecurity.
Sure.
And that is something that I think should be a requirement for any marketing agency to have, if they're going to be working with any form of data that is owned by the client or connected to the client's business. So that's a really important thing these days. And I'm not so sure, when companies, individuals are looking for a marketing agency, you don't really think to ask about their insurance.
I'm just as guilty of not asking also.
Yeah. It's hard enough, right? If someone's coming to your home to cut a big tree down, you ask them to show proof of insurance, because God forbid something happens. You don't want that liability.
Sure.
But when you're shopping for marketing, you don't think to ask about what type of insurance they have.
Right.
But if they're going to be handling your data, I think it's something really important. And you could probably, talk better than I can about the protection that's put in place, not just for the agency, but for the client as well, and why a company would require an agency like Lanmark360 to have cybersecurity.
So there's a statistic in a webinar that I was in last week from the Travelers. I think the 2020, the number of ransomware attacks in 2020 was somewhere like 30 million or something like that.
Wow.
300 something. It was a ridiculous, maybe it was 300 million. It's incredible the amount of ransomware attacks that are occurring today, right? So imagine you have 25 employees. You're all connected in some way, shape, or form to a network. Well, one of your computers gets infected. One of your employees has an issue. Takes your whole system down. Then what do? Colgate, we can't work for you for another 2 months till we figure out how to get our computers up and running and figure out how to go back to work again. Bye. They're gone, right? So you have large corporations that you're contracted with, but anybody that's working with a small service provider, if my accountant doesn't have a cyber policy or doesn't have cyber security in place in order to then have a cyber insurance on top of that, and there's a breach at the accounting office, right? You expect your accountant's going to have a cyber policy, right, to protect your data, because they have all my tax returns for the last God knows how many years. I don't have them. They have them. I should have them somewhere, right? So if he has an issue, how's he going to be able to afford to get back up and running? And what happens to all my data? Where are my tax returns? Who's going to get them for me? Right? It'd be his responsibility to then be able to get that information and then cover his own butt. The insurance is going to pay to get him back up and running again. But if his office goes down April 1st with an April 15th deadline, he's in big trouble. Absolutely. So anybody providing a service is at major risk when it comes to cyber related stuff.
And what about actual fraud? Someone hacks into the system,
fraud,
and then steals credit card information,
extortion,
steals social security numbers, and what type of protection is offered then?
There's all, credit card, any restaurant, right? We're all connected to the internet. If there's a way for a hacker to get in and shut your network down, nobody knows how to get a ticket out and write an order up to bring it to the kitchen and hope that they can make your food, and then get it back out again. It's going to it'll cripple the entire operation until things can get back up and running again. So restaurants are at high risk. Anybody taking credit cards is at a risk. Any service provider is at significant risk. What if there's an issue at your client, that trickles down to you. And because of their actions, something that happened with them that wasn't even your fault, you have a breach that affects you for your other clients, right? You have a loss of business there. You have a major issue that needs to be controlled. So the cyber stuff is just totally bonkers. And for any business owner that's not thinking about it, here I am, I'm like gripping the table. I'm just like, let's get after it. Like, it's just, if I had to choose between a fire policy and a cyber policy for a business owner, I'm like, take the cyber. You're more likely to have a cyber crime occur.
What's your recommended minimum that a company should have?
$1 million is a standard for small businesses, but I saw one recently that came down from JP Morgan for another client of ours that was $25 million in cyber coverage.
That makes sense in the financial.
The problem with that is you can't get $25 million of cyber coverage unless you're a big enough company. So the small business trying to work with the big business is now boxed out because your financials don't support you purchasing $25 million of coverage because you can't afford the premium, and your business just isn't built to support a $25 million claim if something were to happen on that grand scale. So it gets bad when you get into those higher limits because you have to have a significant business and a track record to be able to put 25 million of limit on the table, because guess what? If you have that breach, JP Morgan's coming for that 25 million, and they're not going to back down until they get it, right? And that small company isn't set up to support, that kind of issue.
Like buying groups within the insurance industry where multiple small businesses could get together and co-op buy some type of protection?
It's a great idea. Not on the cyberspace. I've seen it on the property side, but not in the cyber side. But that would be pretty cool. But then everybody's sharing
the risk,
and I think the risk is way too high.
Yeah, that's
when you have a building and a building, your risk for fire is kind of the same. If you're both built in 1980 and you're both housing the same type of business, well, your risk is the same. But business A to business B is not the same when it comes to being a part of the risk pool. Right. So when it comes to managing your network now, do you outsource your security people, right? Shout out to Randy. He's still using Randy. Refulgent Technologies.
Yeah, awesome.
Randy, when are you coming back to New Jersey? I'm going to see if we're at 7 minutes left. That means we're at 20 minutes in. We'll see if you get to this point, Randy.
Yeah, he's wonderful, and thank you for the recommendation.
Right, so they've been able to beef up your security so that you can, meet other requirements also, right?
Absolutely.
How's that all working out for your remote staff?
It's working out great. It's working out great.
You don't want to share anything else. It's all secret. We'll go back to talking about marketing and vodka in a minute. But yeah, so you're using a third party security service, right? Third party networking team, managed service agency, whatever they call themselves today, computer people, to make sure that your computers are all up to snuff, because you're working in mostly a remote environment, as am I. So you have VPNs in there and, every other security that you need on all your employees' laptops so that everything stays secure. And that's one way to be able to get these higher limits of cyber insurance, because you have a secure network and your endpoints, as they call them, are mostly secure. So let's talk about business. How is 2021 for you, and where do you see your business going in the next year?
Yeah, 2021 has been an awesome year. It's been a really awesome year. Like most companies, it's definitely been the year of change.
Right.
Certainly the change started in 2020. Big shift with us not being in the office every day. There's still a group of us that do go in. Everything is a flex schedule right now. But about 90 to 95% of everything we do is being done remotely. So that within itself has been a switch for us.
Right.
But we have, found that to be very efficient, and it's really proving to work out well. Eventually, we would like to get back to being in the office more. There certainly is value to live interaction. There's value to live collaboration, and we still do quite quite a bit of that as being a creative agency.
Right.
Some of it is being done virtually, and it works. But there are times that there's just a thirst and a need for that live interaction. And we have a great office and a great space that we, go to for that.
Right.
And, from the standpoint of business overall, fourth quarter really picked up.
Nice.
And a lot of the hard work that we put towards attracting new clients, paid off. And we welcomed a few new big clients to Lanmark360 during Q4. And we have some really promising opportunities in the pipeline for 2022. So we're very excited. And through all this, we were able to maintain about 95% of our existing clients pre-COVID. And there was a lot of work that was put on hold. There was a lot of breaks put on projects we were working on. All of that is pretty much back to business as usual. So it was definitely a different but really great and exciting year for Lanmark360.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. I'm looking forward to what you have coming up next. You build a good foundation, and then you can separate yourself from the competition. I think is one of the most important things that we can put out there. You can really separate yourself by being a professional organization, having certain things in place, having the right teams in place. And then your competition just has to work a lot harder to catch up, to keep up. I think it's pretty cool. And we try to do the same thing at LG Insurance. We try to keep ourselves a little bit ahead of the curve as best we possibly can with our technology, with our team, and the work that everybody does, and our marketing efforts, of course, just to keep ourselves present, relevant, and ahead of everybody else. And just like you, we're not everybody's in the office, and I got everybody coming in soon for a holiday party, and we're going to make sure that we celebrate a little bit with some LG branded vodka. And we'll see where 2022 brings, but I look forward to a good 2022. I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming year.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and nothing but the best for you and the LG team. From a business standpoint, you have been a really excellent resource for me and for Lanmark360. It goes so much beyond working with any insurance agency we've worked with through our company's history. I've owned the company for the last 14, 15, maybe 15 or so years. Been with the company for 20 years, worked with a lot of different really great people within the insurance space. But to date, you are definitely the best. And
you heard it here, folks.
You're accessible, you're knowledgeable, and you really help us to make the decisions that's best for our business as if it was your own business.
I appreciate it.
So couldn't ask for anything more, and really appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Howard Klein, Lanmark360, and thanks for joining me on the podcast.